MES College Marampally e-learning.
Hello my dear students, myself Ansala NL, Assistant Professor from Department of Commerce, MES College Marampally. Today I am here to present a topic on financial management, and that is about dividend decision. As we all know that financial management is something that is concerned with, we have to take three important decisions. That is, one is financing decision, then we have to consider investment decisions, and finally dividend decision. And my topic is dividend decision. Dividend decisions. In this module, we are going to discuss dividend decision, its meaning, types, and different types of dividend policies, then conservative versus liberal dividend policies, then payout ratio, retention ratio, and also bonus shares, then stock split and reverse stock split. Now let us check what is a dividend. The term dividend refers to that part of a profit that can be legally distributed to its shareholders. So it is the portion of the profit that is distributed to the shareholders. According to the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, a dividend is a distribution to shareholders out of profits or reserves available for the purpose. And we have different types of dividend like cash dividend, then we have scrip dividend, then we have bond dividend or stock dividend, then we have property dividend, and also we have liquidating dividend. Now let us check what are these types of dividends. Cash dividend is paid in the form of cash, and scrip dividend is just like the postponement of dividend. That is, if a company is unable to pay the dividend for the present time, so it may make a future date for the payment of dividend. So such a promise to pay the dividend on a future date is termed as scrip dividend. Then we have property dividend, that is, dividend is paid in the form of property, in the form of some assets, and this type of dividend is issued in some unusual, in case of some exceptional circumstances, and it is not quite popular in India. And then we have stock dividend, and it is also otherwise known as bonus shares or bond dividend. That is, here shares are issued to the shareholders as dividend. Then we have liquidating dividend, and this particular dividend means here a portion of the capital is distributed to the shareholders as dividend, and actually it's an indicator of that the company is going to wound up on the near future. Okay, then we have we have to discuss about what is the dividend policies. And dividend policy refers to the policy of management concerning about the quantum of profit to be distributed among the shareholders and how much to be retained in the business for reinvestment. So there are two things to be considered while taking dividend policy, that is, how much profit should be retained in the business for future purpose, and how much should be distributed as profit. So we have to consider two things, that is the dividend payout and as well as the retained earnings. And we have different kinds of dividend policies, like we have stable dividend policies, then we have regular dividend policies, then we have irregular dividend policies, then we have no dividend policies. In case of stable dividend policy, the company is paying a stable rate of dividend to the shareholders. And in case of regular dividend policy, the company has the practice of paying dividend regularly. In case of irregular dividend policy, the company is not having any regular payment of dividend. Its payment of dividend is irregular. Sometimes there may be dividend distribution, sometimes there won't be no dividend distribution. And no dividend policy means here there is no dividend is available to the shareholders, or is distributed to the shareholders only at the only after a particular period. The amount will be what they are invested in the business should be returned back to the shareholders. There is no dividend to the shareholders. Okay, this much is about dividend policies. And now let us check what is a conservative and liberal dividend policies. And in case of conservative dividend policy, it's an orthodox dividend policy. So here the company makes a large portion of the profit is retained in the business for future use, and the company is only paying a small amount as dividend to the shareholders. Whereas in case of liberal dividend policy, the company is approaching a liberal approach. That is, here the dividend declared is at a high rate to the shareholders, and only a meager amount is retained in the business for further future expansion. So this is what conservative and liberal dividend policies. And here in this aspect we have to study two different ratios, that is payout ratios and retention ratios. Payout ratio means the ratio of the total amount of dividend paid out to shareholders relative to the net income of the company, and it is expressed as a percentage of the company's earnings. So it is nothing but it is the how much dividend is payable to the shareholders divided by total income of the company. So that is what payout ratio. And in case of retention ratio, how much profit is retained in the business divided by the total profit available to the total profit made by the company. So these are the two important ratios that is to be considered while framing our dividend policies. And there are certain factors that are affecting dividend policies, like there are certain legal provisions. Something will be explained in the some provisions will be listed in the articles of association, and some some rules will be provided by the SEBI regarding the dividend distribution. All this should be observed by the company. The nature of earnings, the company's earnings should be regular, then only we can pay a regular rate of dividend or a stable rate of dividend. So that should be checked. The nature of industry, what type of industry is that particular company. So that is also to be decided while providing dividend. Then age of the company, usually new companies will not be in a position to pay dividend at a high rate. So it is better for a new company to adopt a moderate rate of dividend rate, that is dividend payout ratio. Then desire and type of shareholders. Some shareholders prefer to have a regular dividend, and some shareholders will prefer for capital appreciation. So we have to consider that also. Then future financial requirement, that is, if the company is having huge financial expansion program, then it is better for the company to retain a huge profit as retention profit. Then what about economic policy of the government? The company should have to take care of the economic policies of the government also. Then control objectives. Control objectives is nothing but if a company is going to issue large number of huge amount of the profit as shareholders, what will be happening is that if the company wants any, if it is having any future expansion program, then it will have to invite new shareholders. It will have to offer its shares for subscription. So new shareholders will come into the company, so the control will be diluted. So that such thing should be considered while taking dividend policies. Then taxation policy of the government, that is another important factors to be considered, and also the general state of the economy. So all these are the different factors that is to be determined while taking dividend policies. Then let us check. Now our next area is what dividend. Next area is what dividend bonus shares. So in case of bonus shares is the additional shares issued to the existing shareholders based on the number of shares held by them without any additional cost. Here bonus shares are the additional shares issued to the existing shareholders without receiving any consideration from them. So it is a method of capitalizing our free reserves. That is what bonus shares. And the bonus shares we can use it's a process of capitalizing our free reserves. So different sources of bonus issues includes balance in the profit and loss account, general reserve, capital reserve, premium received in cash, then balance in sinking fund reserve, capital redemption reserve, then development rebate reserve, development allowance reserves, etc. So all these are the different sources that can be utilized for issuing bonus shares. Okay, then what are the objectives and effects of the issue of bonus shares? Actually, the first important objective of the issue of bonus shares is reduce the market price of shares. Surely, in case of bonus issue, we are not receiving any consideration from the shareholders for the shares, and so here the number of the shares will be increased. So obviously, there will be reduction in the market price of the shares. Then to indicate a good prospectus, if a company is going to issue bonus shares, it's an indicator of the financial progress of that particular company. Then it increases the goodwill. Then it also helps to raise capital. That is, we can capitalize our free reserve. So there will be an increasing in our capital, and it also make the shareholders satisfied. So these are the different objectives of bonus issue. And what are the effects of this particular bonus issue? That is, there is increasing the share capital and number of shares that we already discussed. Then reduces dividend per share. Then there is no effect on the asset. Here we are taking only the free reserves, and these reserves are converted into capital. So the change is affected only in the liability side, and there would be no change in the this asset side. And also the net worth remains the same. There would be no change, because even if we are utilizing the reserves for issuing bonus shares, it will be in the form added in the capital. So there won't be no change in our net worth. So these are the effects of bonus shares. Now there are certain advantages and disadvantages of this particular thing. So what about the advantages? Actually, for the company, there is unaltered liquidity position. There is no change in the company's liquidity position, and it increases the credit worthiness of the company, and there is a wider marketability is there. Then gives a green signal of growth, and it also satisfies the shareholders, and it will also improve the image of the company. It's for the company. These are the advantages that is available to the company, and to the shareholders, they are getting free additional shares, and also these shares are immediately realizable, and their bonus shares are not taxable, and also there is an increasing in the future income for the shareholders. So these are the various advantages for the shareholders as well as the company. And there are certain disadvantages also. Actually, there is decline in the rate of dividend. By the issue of bonus shares, there is no increase in the rate of dividend. So actually there is a decline in the rate of dividend. Then there is also speculative dealings will also there, and it also affect the liquidity of the shareholders. Surely the shareholders liquidity will be affected by means of this particular bonus issue. Then reduction accumulated profit, that is, we are utilizing the free reserves for bonus issue. Surely there will be a decrease in our accumulated profits, and it forgoes cash equivalent, because we are not receiving any cash from the shareholders, so we forgoes cash. And it's a lengthy procedure, and also there is also decreased rate of dividend that we already discussed, and high administration cost also. So these are the various disadvantages of what this particular bonus issue. And next topic is stock split. Stock split means we are breaking above the shares into smaller part. That is what stock split, that is, it is a corporate action in which a company divides its existing shares into multiple shares to boost the liquidity of the shares. So here we are reducing the price of the shares, so we can attract more equity shareholders. The advantages: it shows the growth of the company, and it also increases the affordability, because by stock split means we are reducing the size of the shares. So surely most common people can afford this particular shares. Then it increases the number of shareholders, and also it also increases the liquidity of the shareholders. And there are some disadvantages also, like it is a costly thing, and there is also risk of delisting, because if the shares are if we reduce the shares to a particular level, below a particular level, it is not eligible for listing in stock exchange. So there is a risk of delisting is there. Then sometimes unwanted investors may enter into the organization, because everyone can afford these shares, and there is because of this, these shares are less attractive to some investors also. So this much is about stock split, and there is another topic, that is reverse stock split. And reverse stock split is just the reverse of the stock split. In case of stock split, we are dividing the shares into different groups, but in case of reverse stock split, we are reducing the number of shares in the market. So we are consolidating the shares, and it is also known as stock merger or stock rollback. And the advantages are it reduces speculation, then it reduces the shareholders base, and it indicates the strength of the company, because all these are the various advantages of reverse stock split. And there is another, it is not free from disadvantages, and the disadvantages, there is reduces liquidity and accumulation of stock by big players. Only big companies or big corporates can afford this type of shares, and lower valuation of the company. So these are the disadvantages of reverse stock split. That much is about dividend decision. I hope everyone has got a clear-cut information regarding dividend decision. Thank you. That's all.